Welcome to Rhinex Students Above and Beyond. I'm Valerie Feit, the K-12 Enrichment Coordinator for the Rhinex District. Above and Beyond is an opportunity to get to know some outstanding young people in our community who are also going to be our future leaders. Today I'm here with Amanda Hurlbut. She is an 11th grader at the Rhinex High School. She's a hockey player. She's a member of the Student Senate. She's a high honor roll student and an AP scholar. And she's also the leader of a group called Kids with Soul. Recently, Amanda was one of only 42 students nationwide who was chosen to participate in the Take the Lead conference at Mount Holyoke College. So welcome, Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking to you about Kids with Soul. It's such an interesting project. What is Kids with Soul?
Kids with Soul is an intergenerational, community-based group that sends sneakers to underprivileged children in Liberia.
How did you come up with the idea of sneakers?
Well, a while back, Kimmy Weeks, the leader of our parent organization, Youth Action International, came to our school, and we had a house party for him, and we were able to talk with him one-on-one, and he said that sneakers were a necessity in Liberia and that these children didn't have any. So we pursued collecting sneakers and developing a group that could send sneakers to these children.
You just mentioned that Kimmy Weeks is the founder, is that right, of,
Yes.
of Youth Action International.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So Kimmy Weeks is a Liberian Civil War survivor. And what happened in Liberia was that in 2003, the president, Charles Taylor, was exiled to Nigeria for war crimes. So eventually, in 2005, Ellen Sirleaf Johnson was elected president.
Mm-hmm.
But before all of that, the Civil War had completely destroyed the infrastructure and conditions in Liberia. So Kimmy Weeks was given amnesty in the United States.
So he must have been very young, and there must be a lot of children in Liberia who were living during the war years.
Yeah. The war ended in, around 2003, so any children that are just elementary school aged have survived the war.
So these children are traumatized and also probably very poor.
Yes, after the Civil War, the economic conditions in Liberia were completely devastated. The unemployment rate was up to 80%. It still is very high. And with these bad conditions comes, the grounds are unhealthy for these children to walk on. So when they want to go to school, they're contracting diseases and mainly tapeworm through their bare feet. So sneakers are the first barrier to that.
It's an interesting idea to get sneakers because it's something that kids can actually do.
Right.
And so when Kimmy suggested this, you decided to form a group, and currently you mentioned it's an intergenerational group.
Yes.
So who are the members?
There are several members that, there's kids that go to Rhinex High School. There's also kids in the middle school and elementary school that are, starting at age, 9 or 10 in 4th grade. And oftentimes their parents are involved. So in my case, my mom is involved. Mm-hmm. And it's, an age range from, 10 years old to 50 years old. So it's great because we have all the different perspectives and ideas and viewpoints from people from different generations.
So leading a group like that is I'm sure, not an easy thing, and you have to learn leadership. Has Kimmy Weeks' leadership and Youth Action influenced how you operate as a leader?
Yeah, absolutely. Kimmy Weeks' leadership model is really applicable to Kids with Soul. So we have different members, and they each have their own subgroup that they're the leaders of. And, I am the leader and I oversee most of these groups, but it's great because each member of the group is their own leader in their own way, dealing with their own individual groups and projects. So we stay really connected through the internet and through social networking sites like Facebook, and it's Kimmy Weeks has set us a really great example through how he runs Youth Action International.
So everybody, there's leadership at all levels, and
Yes.
people are running their own shoe drives. But how do you get shoes? Where are they?
There's a secret underground world of sneakers out there that no one really knows about. But initially, we started going door to door, asking people for sneakers, friends, family, neighbors, and most people were really willing to give us their sneakers because a lot of families have young children that grow out of their sneakers, and their old sneakers are sitting in the closet and not being used for anything. So it was never a struggle to get sneakers. But as our organization has grown, we've gone to local businesses and stores that sell sneakers, such as Athlete's Foot in Rye, the Plaza Bouderie in Larchmont. They've all donated sneakers that have not been sold in their stores. We've put boxes in other local stores around, asking people to drop off their used sneakers. So we've kind of branched out in the neighborhood.
So you're getting sneakers, but what do you do when, say for example, you mentioned earlier today that the Cub Scouts, for example, had gotten sneakers.
Yes. The Cub Scouts, a mom in our group, Mrs. Nancy Francavilla, she and her sons are part of a local Cub Scout troop, and they, so Nancy Francavilla has her own kind of connections and group in Kids with Soul, and her and the Cub Scouts were able to collect 700 pairs of sneakers in a collection that they did recently involving a church and their Cub Scout troop.
That's a lot of sneakers. So what do you do with the sneakers? How do you manage sneakers?
It's an interesting thing. One of our members, Nina Rubin, she and her husband have a bakery warehouse in Queens, New York. So they have connections to a boxing company who's given us boxes. So we pack the sneakers in the boxes and bring them to Nina Rubin, and she brings them to the warehouse in Queens. And the boxes are put up in the rafters in this warehouse. So it's convenient because I don't have 50 boxes piling up in my house. We're able to put them in a convenient location.
So storing the boxes, and I have to imagine that once you've got that together, getting shoes to Africa must be an incredible experience. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's probably the most difficult, most challenging aspect of Kids with Soul, is physically getting the sneakers from point A to point B in terms of the United States and to Liberia. Shipping containers usually cost close to $8,000, so it's not something that is easy to come by. So often Youth Action International doesn't give us much time to put together a shipment because we often piggyback onto a shipment that they're already doing, so it doesn't cost us as much money. So the turnaround is really fast, so we have to scramble to get the sneakers from the warehouse to wherever the sneakers are being shipped from, and then to Liberia. And recently, over Memorial Day weekend in the spring, we were informed a couple of days before the weekend that a shipment was going to be taking place from Maryland. So here we are with 15, 20 boxes in Queens, New York, that need to get to Maryland so that they can get to Africa. And I was on the phone trying to figure out different truck situations, whether we were going to call U-Haul or who was going to drive the sneakers down on this weekend that most people were taking a vacation. So it turned out okay because a man at a school in Connecticut was actually going to be taking our sneakers because he was doing a shipment at the same time. So luckily we were able to get a local person with a pickup truck and put all the sneakers in the truck and drive the truck down to Danbury, Connecticut, where we could drop off the sneakers at this school with this man. So everything worked out in the end, but it's not an easy process.
So on Memorial Weekend, when other kids were outside and, just sunning themselves, you were doing what?
I was on the phone, on the computer, and just trying to figure out the logistics of how I was going to get these sneakers to Liberia.
So this whole process of running Kids with Soul, working with the group, meeting, contacting people, getting sneakers, storing them, the whole thing, plus the shipping, what has been the most challenging element for you?
There's lots of different challenges, and I'm always, ready to try and face them. Shipping is something that's a big deal and definitely a hard thing, but just being a leader of a group is something that isn't always, your first nature. And I've come to kind of develop like the etiquette of leadership is what I like to call it. So you have to learn how to communicate with your group, how to delegate responsibilities, how to plan things and be on time, and just be effective in the way that you run things. And that's definitely something that has been a challenge, and that has helped me grow. Learning those skills.
And you also do a lot of other things. So how do you manage this? You mentioned the school support. Can you talk about that? How do you interface this kind of role with school?
It's really interesting. I was given a really unique opportunity at my school to be part of the Independent Learner Program, which is run by the enrichment coordinator at our school. And Independent Learner Program is great because it allows you to pursue any project that you'd like. So I'm doing a community service type project with Kids with Soul, but I have friends that are in Independent Learner that are writers and entering writing contests and submitting work to magazines. I have other friends that are doing software and technology-based projects. So it's really whatever interests you and whatever you'd like to pursue, you're encouraged to do, and you get credit for it. So it's a great class.
That sounds really wonderful to be able to have that opportunity, but it's that opportunity is there, and you're also an AP student and on the high honor roll, you play a sport, and you're on the student senate, and it goes on and on like this. So how do you juggle all of this?
It's a balancing act, but it's something that I really enjoy doing. All of those things are important to me and things that I like to do. So, and I, my idea is that if you really want to do it and you really like to do it, then you should do it. So I try and fit it all in as best as I can. And, if that means not spending a weekend with my friends, then it means that sometimes, but it's what I'm willing to give up.
You also said earlier in this conversation that your mother is part of the Kids with Soul group, and other kids have their mothers. And I think what occurred to me when you said that is that, is it hard to be in a group with your mother as a teenager?
My mom and I get along really well, and I'm really lucky in that way. She and I are a great team, and obviously, we have our differences and our conflicts, but for the most part, we're pretty different, so her ideas and my ideas are not always the same. So it's good to work with someone like that because we can feed off of each other, and she gives me ideas about things, and I'm like, wow, I never would have thought of that. That's such a great idea. And other times, I have to reason with her ideas, and it's really a good thing. It's brought us closer.
I'm going to change direction a little bit because I think that's lovely, and it's nice to hear that. One of the things your parents have supported you in is exploring the greater world around this project. And I understand this summer you went to Fiji.
Yes, Fiji was one of the greatest experiences I've had in my life so far. I was given the opportunity to go to Fiji for 4 weeks with a program, and we lived in villages and did community service within the village and helped we lived, with villagers and helped the villagers in various projects that they were trying to complete within their community. So it was not like we had come in and we were just like, okay, we're going to fix this, this, and this. It was just kind of like, okay, what do you guys need help with? What are you trying to get done? What needs to be accomplished? How can we help? Mm-hmm. So it was really great to see these people, and they're so amazing and nice and kind. And it was really great to see, well, I mean, not great, but it was really interesting to see the way that they lived and how poverty does affect them too. And, working with Kids with Soul and being focused mainly on Liberia, it's fascinating to see how the same things are going on in other parts of the world. I mean, children walking to school in Liberia with no shoes is not that much different than a Fijian child walking to school with no shoes. So, and being part of Kids with Soul, I'm always attracted to people's feet. Immediately, I look and see these kids, and we were running around in the village, and they don't have shoes on. So I was, ding, 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 Kids with Soul. So it was an amazing, amazing experience.
Speaking of which, when you showed me some of the photographs of the Liberian distribution,
yeah,
I was really affected. I'm sure other people have been very affected by that. It wasn't a situation where you could really imagine what it was going to be like. What did you think it was going to be like, and how did you actually feel when you saw the pictures of the shoes you'd collected being distributed?
Seeing the pictures, seeing the video of the sneaker distribution was completely overwhelming. I had absolutely no idea how, what the reality was there. I had this, idea in my head that it was going to be a table with an orderly line where people were going to get into line and receive each pair of shoes, and it would be, calm and orderly and organized. And these photos just show how primitive and underprivileged and how chaotic their society is. And it was just really, really touching to see that these sneakers were really needed, and it wasn't something superficial or unwanted. These people were gathering around and grabbing at the boxes and the sneakers like they need them. So it was sad and overwhelming, but fulfilling at the same time.
So how do you balance seeing that kind of poverty and the kind of lifestyle that you live?
I think it's really important to give back, and coming from a privileged area with a privileged life, I feel like that's my job, is to spread the wealth. And I think Kids with Soul is the perfect outlet for me to give back to others, in this case, Liberian children.
Does it cost money? There must be money involved in this.
Yes.
How do you manage that part? I'm sure you mentioned the shipping cost is astronomical.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I mean, Kids with Soul first is about the sneakers, and I always like to stress that it's about the sneakers and not about the money, because I think that Kids with Soul is great because it's not an organization that asks for money, as many are. We're asking for gently used sneakers. So when it does come to collecting funds and getting money, we've done a fundraiser called A Step in the Right Direction, and it was a walk that we did in last winter, and a Youth Action International board member came and spoke to the group and to everyone that participated in the walk, and people asked friends, family, anyone to sponsor them on this walk. And we raised over $2,500, and it's fundraising is a process, and it's another thing that I've had to learn how to approach in the right way.
So I understand Dr. Mustick, the district superintendent, and Dr. Barbara Ferraro, the assistant superintendent for curriculum, were very instrumental at that point and provided the athletic center
Yes.
for you. So now you're planning something new. So I'm sure that you'll be involving the administration of the school.
Yes.
But what are you planning?
For the upcoming year, we're planning another fundraiser, and we're going to call it A Day Without Shoes. And everyone's going to be sponsored to spend the day barefoot, imitating what it's like for those in Liberia who don't have shoes ever. So we're going to spend the day walking around barefoot.
So in order to build this,
Yes.
Are you just contained in your own community, or are you reaching out to try to get other people involved?
We're definitely trying to reach out into other communities to get people involved. I have, tried to network myself in various ways to get other kids at other schools as excited and aware of what's going on in Liberia. I want, other children like myself to have the same experiences as I do in giving back and collecting sneakers, and it's definitely something that I want to make bigger.
So if a student is watching, or if there's a parent watching or wants to get involved with this and help, what do they do?
It's really easy. I have an email, and Kids the Soul has a website, and I'm constantly answering those emails, and the website has lots of contact information and other a few small steps about how to start your own group, which if you're interested in, you could read over that and then contact me, and I could always assist you more. So I'm always willing to help new members.
So they can be leaders.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So you're doing the walk and you're getting new members and you're very involved in this. What do you see in your future? You went to the conference on leadership. You were one of only 42 students in the country who was chosen to do this. Is that because leadership's part of your future, or is this sort of I guess you could say, a high school experience for you?
It's definitely Kids of Soul is going to definitely be a huge part of my high school experience, but I don't want it to end there. I'm always going to be interested in leadership, in college and after college, in the real world with a job. I don't really know exactly where I'm going with it, but I definitely want leadership and working with other people to be something that I continue to do for the rest of my life. And take the lead at Mount Holyoke College was amazing, because I was surrounded with women who are empowered to be leaders and pursue fascinating and really, really amazing things that they've been able to accomplish. So I strive for that.
If you could describe your generation, and that's way too general, I realize you're not the spokesperson for your whole generation, but if you were to describe your generation, the kids you know, do you find that they're informed, that they're conscious of what's going on in the world, or are kids, the way we think of them stereotypically, is just completely wound up with their text messages?
It's a mixture of both. It's there's kids that are, focused on their social lives and their text messaging, but there's so many people that are, in the world that want to pursue great things and succeed in life and help others. And I think that our generation is set up to really, really make that grow and to expand giving back and being leaders. And we have it all at our fingertips, and I think there's a lot of people that are grabbing for it. So I think that, our generation doesn't always have the best reputation, but I think that there's lots of people that can change that.
Well, I don't think any generation has had a great reputation. I think the adults always are a little bit, afraid for kids. I wanted to just ask you a couple of more questions about your experience. You've been at Rhinebeck for your whole school career?
Yeah, I'm a full-timer.
So
whole lifer.
A lifer at Rhinebeck. What kind of advice would you give students who are coming up through the school district and are trying to see the world and develop themselves?
I think that Rhinebeck High School is a great place to explore new things and learn about yourself. I think that the Independent Learner Program is huge if there's something that you're interested in that you really want to pursue. Even if you don't know exactly what you want to do, the Independent Learner Program can kind of focus and hone in on your talents and skills and interests and let you just broaden your horizons on that kind of what you're really interested in.
So you're kind of toward the end of the journey, and you're
almost
looking. You're 11th grade. Everyone knows that's a tough year. So you're looking at pretty soon college applications are going to come up, and all be leaving and to go on. As you prepare for that, is that a scary prospect or is that exciting? How do you feel about that?
It's scary in that I am a lifer at Rhinebeck, and then it's going to be a little bit weird not to be there. But that fear is this big compared to the excitement that I have to move on and explore new things and start a new adventure. I'm always ready to step into something new.
But right now, I'm sure what's on your mind is getting shoes to Monrovia.
Yes.
And this will be, how many have you sent, or how many will it be once you get the shipment out?
Well, right now, we've sent over 2,500 pairs of sneakers. And right now, in the warehouse in Queens, we have close to 20 boxes more with more and more sneakers coming in. So those 20 boxes probably have close to 700 to 800 pairs by the time that we're done and the next shipment happens. Hopefully we'll have close to more like 1,000 pairs. There's rumor going around that there's going to be a shipment sometime this month, but like I said, we don't ever really know how those things work out. So we'll see.
So you really need help now. You need people to get involved right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, next week, the week after, the next month, like it's always busy, always something to do. Whether, we are just sent out a shipment or we're preparing for one, we always want sneakers, we're always looking for fundraisers, we're always looking for new members.
Well, Amanda, I really wish you luck. And if anybody in our audience would like to get involved and contact Amanda, they can do so. I know that you'd love people to join you in a sneaker drive. So please contact her, and it's easy to do. It's kidswithsoul@optonline.net, or go to the Kids with Soul website at www.kidswithsoul.org. And that is our show, and I want to thank our producer and director, Remy Litvin. He's a 10th grade student at Rhinebeck, and also the LMC-TV staff and our wonderful volunteer crew. My name is Valerie Feit, and please join us again when we look forward to introducing you to another student who goes above and beyond.
Ha ha ha.